Hey guys, welcome back to another Minecraft novel. Today we will begin reading Minecraft the Shipwreck, and we're going to read chapter 1, which is titled Jake. Starts on page 3 and goes to page 15. If you guys enjoy this book, make sure you hit that like button and stay tuned for more. Without further ado, chapter 1, which is titled Jake. Here we are, home sweet home. Jake steps out of the truck and shuts the door. The tar on the street almost seems to sink under his feet as he stands. It's fresh, still soft from the hot sun, marked with crisp, clean, recently painted lines of white. Dad whistles, the sun hitting the top of his balding head just right. He puts his hands on his hips, nodding to himself. Jake follows Dad's proud gaze and looks across the street at the gray building situated on the corner of a tree lined street. A wide swath of grass separates it from the sidewalk. The apartment complex seems just as drab and dull as the rest of the buildings on this street. It's a far cry from the beachside paradise Dad had been gloating about on the three-state road trip. The neighborhood has seen better days. Rows and rows of mismatched apartment buildings and peeling paint. Yellow lawns and trash-lined streets. Jake sighs and shakes his head as Dad turns back to flash him a grin. This is the place you're tearing down? Jake's eyes the ancient apartment complex. Yep, already did one of the buildings in the complex. The one we're moving into. Oh, you're gonna love it. Everything is brand new and perfect, eh? Three towers of apartments are clustered behind the first building. One is clearly new, gleaming white, shining glass, windows reflecting the pale blue sky, almost as if the tower is trying to be part of the sky itself. The other two are built from the same dull gray concrete as the first, occasionally spotted with bricks, flecked with color for a bit of artistic flair. Jake can't help but smile, thinking about lines of ore in Minecraft. He imagines destroying the entire complex, one row of blocks at a time, gathering the jewels, coal, and different types of rock from the building sides. He sees two, maybe three different building materials. They look a lot more sturdy than whatever the new building is made of. Although the glass is pretty neat, it'd be interesting mining a tower like this, but simple enough. Just craft a few ladders and get to the top and make your way down. Jake's in the middle of his daydream when he realizes Dad's still waxing poetic about the project. It's going to be a long haul. My company is due in this complex and two more down the street for a fancy new design firm. There's a lot of work in Los Angeles. Aren't you excited? All this great California sunshine, and we go to the beach whenever we want. Sure, Dad. The sun feels like any other sun Jake's ever felt. Then again, it is the same sun. He would hope so. Dad gives him a small smile full of promise, one that Jake wants to believe means they'll actually go to the beach together. Every new state, every new city in the past 3 years has been full of the same promises. We'll go to the county fair. I'll take you to a ball game. We're going to go camping. But Dad said it was because he was still building up his company's reputation, and now everything is going to change, apparently. Jake will believe it when he sees it. Chicago, San Antonio, Seattle. Each of these places, Dad said, would be home, and each of them just turned out to be a stopping point. Isn't it beautiful? I tell you, the architect who dreamed up the renovation, she's a genius. Dad grabs a box from the back of the truck and sighs happily, still admiring the view. Jake makes a non-committal grunt in reply. It's just another picture-perfect condo, filled with the same uncomfortable furniture and nondescript landscape paintings. There's a moving van parked outside that isn't theirs, and for a moment Jake wonders what it's like to actually have comfortable furniture that you'd haul across the country. Knickknacks, little odds and ends that make a home. They don't actually own furniture anymore. They haven't really, since they packed up their old house in Maryland and everything went into storage. Jake tries not to think about the boxes of photo albums, the yellowing perfect attendance certificates Mom kept from the first through third grade. The perfect ratty couch he loved, all of it slowly gathering dust on the other side of the country. Now, every place they move into comes with furniture, usually leftovers from the model homes or staging. Weird pieces thrown together and never really feel intentional, much less like a home. He goes to the back of the truck and grabs his backpack and a box of his stuff and follows Dad across the street up to their new place. The stuff I ordered got here yesterday, so we should be all set. Are you ready? Jake shrugs. They pass by a young couple, laughing as they heave a squashy couch up the steps. It looks worn in and perfect, and Jake glances away, almost colliding with a small boy who completely doesn't notice as he scoots a toy truck across the sidewalk. See, people are moving in already. What did I tell you? These new condos are spectacular, if I do say so myself, and we really got here the perfect time. This neighborhood is going to skyrocket in price. Dad proudly tugs his own box closer to himself as he hums the first chord of a cheerful tune. Jake hasn't been too impressed since arriving in California. He was asleep for most of the drive, and since waking up, he hasn't seen a single palm tree or celebrity or even a pool. So far, this neighborhood on the outskirts of Los Angeles looks like every other town, with its strip malls and stoplights and sidewalks, and this street looks like any other street in any other city. Jake's seen so many of them now that it doesn't mean anything anymore. Dad struck up a conversation with a couple as he helps them through the main glass double doors of the first building. Up close, the place looks even more unappealing. A dusty lobby with another set of glass doors on the other side, open to the courtyard of some sort. The new building stands out even more now. A polished monastery of off-white slabs and gleaming glass. It looks jarringly strange next to its neighboring towers. Jake closes his eyes and takes a deep breath. He opens them again, imagining a street transformed brick by brick. The building is just another set of resources, ready for him to reconstruct and rebuild in his own design. And, come on, buddy, let's go check it out. Dad's voice jolts him back to reality in all its disheartening glory. Jake follows him up the steps to where Dad has the heavy-looking door propped open with his foot. Look, I know you're upset, but this time I promise it's going to be the last move. We're going to stick around Los Angeles. This is a really lengthy renovation project, and I've got more coming soon. Did you design this one? Dad looks down at his feet quickly and then back up at Jake. Just project managing. But we have 3 more buildings to renovate, and it's a project that's going to take years, maybe. He gives Jake a small smile. You're starting high school. I figured it was time to stop moving around. Jake nods but doesn't reply. He's used to the moves by now, always being the new kid. It's tough trying to make new friends, especially when he doesn't know how long he's going to stay. The lobby is empty and dark. The only light emanating from the 2 sets of double doors to flank each side of the wide room. It's really big for an apartment building, and as Jake walks through, he can see why. The lobby opens into a huge room with dingy and dust-covered furniture, doors that look like they haven't been open in a decade. Pacific Crest Community Center and Apartments. The words are mounted on a faded sign above a huge painted mural. The sign is cracked and falling apart, but the wall itself is still bright and cheerful. The buildings are painted a deep aquamarine here, and different scenes show laughing people walking through a park, swimming in pools, working in a computer lab. In the center of the mural, a cartoon sun wearing glasses grins down at the building, and an ocean sparkles behind it, and a wave cresting in swooping painted arc. The rest of that wall is covered in blue waves, a colorful contrast to the rest of the room. Gray bricks stacked tediously on top of one another, and fake ficus trees, the kind you see in office buildings attempting to feel more homey. The trees have a thick layer of dust on them, and the one open space is filled with empty tables, empty chairs, and a broken pool table in the corner. There is a mostly bare bulletin board with a single sheet of paper that reads Activity Sign Up. It's blank. Yeah, cheesy, I know, don't worry. All of this is going to be completely rehauled. I mean, a technology room? Dad shakes his head. Talk about outdated, even for my time. No one's even stepped foot in this activity center for ages. I don't blame them. There's nothing here. A laminated poster is propped on an easel with a mock up of the completed complex, all shining glass and sabular architecture. In the graphic, the three buildings dwarf a manicured park with strange steel and glass sculptures. The community center, facing the sidewalk, is replaced with a sleek set of coffee shops and fancy-looking boutiques. Now that's what I'm talking about. Isn't that beautiful? Dad says, nodding at the poster. Sure, Dad, Jake says, clutching his backpack strap tighter. Through the lobby of the abandoned community center and the next set of glass doors, they're met with an overgrown mess of strawberries and trees and wilting flowers. The complex on the inside is just as unimaginative and dull as the outside. Not at all like the lush park Dad was talking about, where he could play sports and make friends. Jake rolls his eyes as he takes it all in. He turns around and considers walking back out, but there's nowhere to go. He sighs, looking at a dingy plate that reads Manager on the door of a single apartment attached to the first building. Must suck to live there, so close to the street and the doors where everyone goes in and out, Jake thinks. At least we don't have to have that unit. Let's go, Dad says, leading the way to the brand new tower. They walk past a sign that reads Pool, even though Jake can't see anything except an overgrown fence and in the distance some sort of playground structure amid the scraggly trees and weeds. This timing is great. You'll get a head start on making new friends before school, huh? Dad says cheerfully. Jake looks around the empty courtyard and sighs. Yup, the perfect place to make new friends. At least they'll have Wi-Fi. The new building still smells like fresh paint and something sharp, like the metal of a bear's support columns inside. After fumbling for the elevator, they arrive on the second floor with their boxes. Jake eyes the courtyard from the outdoor corridor that links the doors of all the apartments, wondering if it's going to be noisy. Here we go. Dad wobbles and nearly drops the box labeled kitchen, trying to get the keys out of his pocket. He balances the box on his hip and unlocks the door. Our new place, executed perfectly by my team, Dad says. I'll get the rest of the stuff from the truck. You need anything? Nah, Jake says, sitting his box down. Internet? Looks like someone will be coming in tomorrow, Dad says. Great. Jake's room is a blank square, like so many blank squares before. It's already got a brand new mattress in it, still wrapped in plastic. Jake sets his box and backpack down and walks over to the thing, giving it a shove. It flops over, revealing an unassembled bed frame behind it. Jake sighs and yanks a sheet out of his box. It's not the right one, but he doesn't care right now. He drags it over the mattress, flops on top of his laptop. The plastic crinkles underneath him. He can make the bed later for real once it's sunk in that he's somehow both in Los Angeles and now and not anywhere near the ocean or Disneyland or anything cool at all, really. There's also no internet. Jake sighs and checks the time. It's probably dinner time over in Maryland. Not that Danny has been logging into Minecraft server. Not that Danny has been logging into the Minecraft server they share recently anyway. They used to be best friends back when they lived in the same neighborhood and stayed in touch when Jake moved to Chicago. But that was 3 moves ago, and now they barely see each other, even in Minecraft. Usually Jake will build something funny for him to find, or vice versa, but it's a far cry from the days when they used to plan epic missions to look for strongholds together. Hopefully, they'll get connection too soon. Jake can play offline, but he definitely will want to work on his most recent build in their server at the same point. At some point, Jake's put in too much work mining quartz to build a replica of the Roman Colosseum to let it go unfinished. Jake lies on his stomach and starts Minecraft. The familiar music cues up, a thrilling welcome, a call to anticipation, discovery, and excitement. Jake selects single player and scans through his older worlds. He could open up any one of these and have a good time. There's the one with the half finished Eiffel Tower, and the one where he's gotten super into enchanting and all the best weapons and armor. The one where he's mapped out the entire continent and discovered monuments and strongholds. Each of these worlds is special, no matter where he is in the real world, what city he's in, what school he's going to with new rules and new people and new cliques to figure out. He can always count on Minecraft. Here the rules are steady. A log always yields 4 planks. 4 planks always makes a crafting table. And you can always deconstruct something to its bare building essentials. Here, Jake is in control. He decides what stays, what goes, where he travels to, and what he spends his time in will look like. Jake taps on Create New World and smiles. He's home. Jake spawns in a forest biome filled with pixelated flowers and trees. He wastes no time getting what he needs to survive his first night. He's done so many times before, but it never fails to amuse him. How adept he is at gathering resources. It's old hat now, and by the time night falls in the game, he built a shelter and is safe from the zombie prowling about. He waits for the sun to rise and keeps moving. Jake tempted to explore until he finds picture skew spot to build a house. But it'll be smarter to gather what resources he can rather than just wandering around and making no progress. He built a temporary hideout close to the mountain that turned out to be a reliable source of coal. Returning to the hideout each night with his day's worth of supplies, slowly but surely he builds his fort up, even though he's not quite sure he wants to stay here permanently yet. But it's worth having a steady supply of food from the small wheat farm he started. He'll need iron and other ore soon if he wants to craft better armor, but randomly striking into the mountain hasn't yielded anything. It's by chance that he finds the cave system. Jake's running away from a creeper when it explodes, catching Jake in the center of the impact. He groans. He'd just been on a successful mining run and was carrying a good amount of coal. He respawns back in his base. Jake crafts a few more pickaxes and makes loaves of bread for the journey before he heads off again, determined to pick up his items before they despawn. Starting over in Minecraft is easy to Jake. He knows exactly what he needs to do and how to succeed. He tries to remember where exactly he met the creeper, trusting his gut and going east. Things look familiar. There's that mountaintop that looks like a wolf's head. There's that lava flow carrying down into a lake. The trees around are slowly catching fire, and Jake takes care to avoid the inferno. He skirts around the lava, reassured when he sees a swath of floating treetops left over his search for lumber. Yesterday's crater is easy to spot in the next morning's light. The explosions expose as mass of rock, and Jake spots the opening as he gathers his things. Oh, nice, Jake says. He cracks his pickaxe into the small dark window, enlarging it by several blocks. Torches to mark his place and to light his way. Inside, Jake spots the beginning of a promising cavern with twists and turns and even water in the distance. He builds a chest and stashes most of the coal in case he doesn't survive this particular adventure, then drops into the cave. Here in the dark, without the cycle of night and day, Jake loses track of time. At some point, Dad tells him he's going to a work thing, and Jake grunts out a reply, lost in the game. He finds veins of coal and good sources of iron and puts up a good fight against the skeletons he encounters, even though he eventually loses. He respawns back at the hideout and takes the time to craft more weapons and torches and plenty of bread to help him heal after attacks, and travels back to the cavern. With a steady supply of iron and a short journey away, the hideout becomes a real base in just a few days, well stocked with food and iron ore ready to be crafted into even better armor and weapons. Jake is fortifying a new perimeter wall when his stomach grumbles. He blinks. The starkness of his physical world hits him. The bare white walls, the emptiness of the floors, the single box, and a backpack. He's dragged in here, sitting forlornly in the corner. It's dark now, everything cast in a strange, sinister shadow. The only colors are the rich greens of the fields and forests beyond, and the bright reds and blues and yellows of flowers, fields bursting with vibrancy from his laptop screen. Staring at the computer, Jake supposes he should refuel his physical body before coming back to this. In the game, he makes sure he's behind the perimeter wall at his base before he saves and quits, so he'll come back in a safe spot. He stretches, his reflection in the window stretches with him. A mousy, brown haired boy, pale and silky looking. Jake frowns and shakes his head, preferring the armored hero he sees when he plays. He pads to the window and yanks it open with some difficulty. Someone had painted the window into the windowsill, almost fully sealing it shut. Night air blows inside, fresher and cooler than the stuffy heat that's built up in his room. Jake takes in a deep breath. He kinda wishes they were on a higher floor for a better view, but it isn't bad. He can see the skyscrapers huddling together downtown, he guesses. Their lights sparkle, and the trail of red and white lights blink steadily in a flowering river of cars traveling to and from where they are. From up here, the courtyard seems even more like an overgrown forest, hacked at to keep in line. A play structure with swings lies in the center, and an empty concrete pool sits in the far west corner, filled with leaves and branches and trash. Jake shakes his head. The living room is filled with boxes, labeled carefully, with things like electronics, Jake's school supplies, and office. There's an older box with neat printed handwriting, with large rounded letters that reads baseball. Jake traces the way Mom made her A's, his fingers lingering on the box. He doesn't open it. The apartment is a blank canvas, all gray modern furniture sitting in the hot, dry heat. His dad's drafting desk is sitting unstructured in pieces, leaning against the wall of the hallway to his office. Inside, the room is mostly set up. the playing desk already cluttered with blueprints and folders and half-finished cups of coffee. Dad's bedroom isn't set up. His mattress is standing up against the wall. Empty bed frame and an empty suitcase sitting next to it. Clothes and jackets are scattered across the floor, like Dad got dressed in a hurry. Must have been a last-minute business meeting or something. Jake always tells Dad to just pack his lucky suit separately so he won't have to look for it. But he never remembers. Jake snorts to himself as he gathers the clothes and shoves them into an empty dresser. The hard gray couch is still wrapped in plastic, and on the dining table is a $20 bill and a note. For pizza. We'll be back late. Have a great first night. Love, Dad. Jake pockets the cash and opens the refrigerator. Finding it empty, he sighs, wondering if it's worth it to walk around and find a grocery store. Shouts and laughter echo from the kitchen window. Jake struggles to open this one as well, making a note to tell Dad that his painters haven't been doing a good job. He manages to get it a few inches open, and fresh air starts to stream in. From this window, he can see the park area more clearly. The early evening bustling with activity. Cars honk and people chatter, and somewhere there's a TV playing Telenova. On the swings are two boys, 8 or 9, he guesses, babies, practically. Jake is 14 and about to start high school, too old to be playing on a swing set. But something about it looks fun. Maybe he could see if there's anything to do around the community center. He watches the two boys jump off the swings, grinning at each other and throwing up their arms in excitement. They run to the monkey bars, laughing, as they goad each other on to climb higher and higher. Must be nice having a best friend like that. Someone who gets you and can make any time turn into a great time. It's Tank! Run! The shrieks draw him back to the window, where Jake watches the two boys flee as his shadow approaches. A new boy, older than Jake, probably. He looks tough and mean. His dark hair is slicked back, and he wears thick denim jacket despite the heat. He shakes his head as the kids empty the playground, and then takes a seat on the swing, pushing himself slowly. That's right, run, he says, scoffing as he squares his shoulders. Footsteps echo behind him, and a little girl with pigtails approaches. She has the same forehead and wide eyes as the boy. Tank, push me. Tannen, she says, and Jake watches the boy's shoulders soften as he gives the girl a small, secret smile while she gets on the swing. He pushes her gently, laughing as she laughs and reaches for the sky. That wraps up chapter 1. I hope you guys enjoyed, and if you did, make sure you hit that like button and stay tuned for chapter 2, which is titled Tank. I will see you guys next time.